GM, GM. So trade of the day. Want to look at a cash from a lower time frame and higher time frame perspective as well. Here I'm looking at. I'll first look at it on the weekly. I'll actually just go zoom all the way out. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly looks fucking amazing. Uh, down only from the end of the bull market into the bear market. Now V reversing with stronger moves all the way, right? So pushed into the bands, compressed on the monthly red bands. The bands have gone green. We have an impulsive month, impulsive, and it's increasing, right? The move is getting stronger month by month. January was a bit of an uncertain candle. February just boomed straight up. I expect it as the momentum to fill in this wick this month or next month, and we could go to $5, $6, maybe even $7. But here's the important thing to remember: if it does that, then it's most likely going to have some kind of decent, like significant pullback. So when you zoom down then to not the 12-minute chart, definitely don't want to see that, down to the weekly, what it has been doing over here is every time it made a push, it stopped and pulled back. It made a push and it stopped and pulled back. It made a push and it pulled back and corrected. That has meant that it's a sustainable step. It's just rising, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If you start to see acceleration now, which is like now we're on our third green week, if this week goes strong and next week goes strong, you probably have several green weeks in a row where it makes a big move. But after that, then there's going to be some kind of more significant correction. Don't know when that's going to be. No point trying to guess it. And as it's a solid project that's going to go to all-time highs, in my opinion, like easily, then there's no reason for it to stop before all-time high. But of course, it doesn't mean it's just going to go straight up to there, right? If you zoom out, it probably goes straight up. If you're looking at a monthly, it is going just up. But in between that, you're having, several decent and significant corrections in between. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. Obviously, AKT is a higher time frame play, and I've no intention of taking any profits unless I see something that would tell me to take profits, which I see nothing yet. Now, as it's pushing and pushing and pushing, I'm looking at it in the compared to Bitcoin on the BTC chart, and it's starting to break out from this weekly consolidation that was in. So this week and maybe next week as well are important to where we had moved up in the start of the year. So all of January and most of February. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of consolidation in here. And we're now breaking out from that against Bitcoin. So on the BTC chart. So I'd expect to see probably quite a big move against BTC here, which would probably just mean that AKT continues rising and Bitcoin goes sideways or grinds up or doesn't have a major nuke. And, to me, this is still just the strongest, best chart that I've seen in terms of how much energy is building up. Yeah. The reason I say that is because this type of strength typically leads to a really, really big move. That's what I'm waiting on. This is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger every month. And I think there's something big coming. Some big player announces they've bought it, gets a listing on Binance or something like that. I would expect that there's some big news or big event that's going to happen for Akash in the next few months. So obviously staying long. Now, where do you get long? I get this question all the time. Where do I get long if I want to get long? Well, first of all, I've gotten long and told you where I've got long both times. First one was back in June, where the red line is. Got long at 55 cents. And then second time I bought this dip because I saw a really nice correction. I thought that this dip too deep because Bitcoin was selling off, but the AI narrative was still really strong. Nvidia was making all-time highs. AKT went as low as 240 and I bought heavily there. I bought more in there. I still have some cash on the sideline I would like to buy more with. For me, as it's now kind of accelerating higher and I've got a good bag, I don't really feel the need to add to my position here yet. The next best place, I think, would be the 200-day moving average, which will come at some point. Typically, at some point in the cycle, you do get one chance to buy at it or near it. Now, for me, that's currently sitting at 170. But if, let's say we pushed higher towards like $5 or $6 or had a sort of blow off top. If you have that type of move, that's what leads to the potential for a proper deep correction to then, reaccumulate and have a big push after. Not saying that this is how it's going to look, but the point would be that if that were to happen, you'd see the 200-day come up to around that level. Your 200-day would then be like above $3, which would mean you're getting the reset to the 200-day at a much higher level. And that means the trend support for the bull market, which is what 200-day moving average tends to do, is keeping it at really well anchored prices, right? Where it doesn't have to pull back to 150 or 170 or whatever. It can actually do that up from the $3 level. And if you look at some of these blow off top type moves, they tend to come from the last base that they broke from. So I'll just use the one example of Link because it's a good example. So Link was rising up steadily in 2019, and then it set its consolidation and had a big blow off move. Where did it come back to? It came right back to that level, right? Deviated slightly below it to where? The 200-day moving average, and that was the bottom for Link. So we haven't had this type of move yet. We haven't had a blow off top on a cash. But you can see what I mean when I'm saying that if that were to happen, if you were to see it just go straight up, then I'd be looking at where did it break from, and it would be breaking from somewhere like here. This would be the kind of base that it was breaking from. And so you're looking at, if it moves up and it goes straight up, no pullbacks, it gets, we get full FOMO, we get Binance listing, we get whatever. I would then expect for it to pop, not be able to go up just continuously forever, some type of pullback, target on that pullback would be back to where we started with, wherever the 200-day is. And that would be the next place that I would look to buy, if I see what I want to see. So that's it right now. Strong, super strong. Strong on the USD chart, strong on the Bitcoin chart. No fault in it, can't complain. And I'm expecting to see continuation from here. So that's it. Yeah.